Hey guys, this is E with Scrapbooking with Me, and I started dyeing some papers this morning, and then I realized that I had promised to show you how I dye my papers. Now, I don't do all coffee or tea dyed. I like a lot of different colors of paper, so I'll do green, blue, this is plum. I'll do whatever color that I can put together. So I'm going to show you how I do mine. Now, I don't always use coffee and I don't always use tea. Sometimes I use just my ink refills. This is an ink refill. I put 2 or 3 drops in here and then I put some water in it. It just depends on how dark you want it. I wanted mine a little bit lighter, so I just put 2 or 3 drops and then added some water until I got it the consistency that I wanted. And then I just stack one paper on top of the other. I use this brush. You can use one of those foam brushes. If you have one of those that's real wide, that works great. I am out of the wide ones, so I just grabbed this. And then you can put your application on any way that you want. I just kind of spread it across. Just don't rub your paper too much. Just put the ink on there and then just move on to the next sheet. The more you rub your paper, the more it might get those little fuzzy parts on there. So I just kind of put my ink on and then just spread it around. And right now you can see the brush marks, but once this dries you can't. The brush marks go away. And then ever so often I will grab one of my paper doilies and I'll just lay that doily in there, and then I'll just wet that doily down just enough so that it'll stick. I don't wet it down a lot because it'll pull the water or the color out of my other papers. And then I go again. Like I said, this one is called Plumeria. It's just an ink color that I had in my stash. We've all got those refills and we very seldom use them because it doesn't take much to refill your ink pad. And then I just flip it over and I use just a paper bag on the back, and then I just keep stacking them on top of each other. When they dry, they'll come apart. And I love how it comes over to the other side and it adds those little run marks. I like that. So this is the plum. Now I just scoop everything out of there and make sure I get it on my paper. Alright, so that is my plum color. Then I wipe this out. I just use this little tin. You could use just a paper cup, whatever you have. This just happened to be sitting on my desk this morning. Wasn't doing any good, so I just grabbed it. And then I don't spend a lot of time cleaning my brush out. You can go wash your brush if you want to. I just kind of wipe over it with a towel and get some of that ink color out. Like I said, if you want to go wash it, you can. And then I grab this, the whole thing, and I take it over and I put it on my table to dry. I just lay mine under my fan that I have in my room, and they dry in no time because you're not dipping them. Alright, let's see. What are we going to do now? Let's do a little bit of purple. So this one is called Chipped Sapphire. I'll shake it up. And I'm putting in about, let's see, I'll probably put about 4 or 5 drops in there to start with, just to see what I've got. Always go back and add more. And then I just add a little water until I kind of get it the consistency that I want. It's just, I don't add water until I can see through it. I just add a little bit of water, and then if it's too dark when I start putting it on here, then I go back and I change it. Now this first one's going to have a little bit of that pink color in it off of my brush. That doesn't bother me. I don't care. Okay, this is a little bit dark for me, so I'm probably going to add a little bit more water. But I love that water effect on there. And it will dry lighter, so keep that in mind too. But I'm going to add just a little bit more water in it. And you can, you know, put it all over it. You can put it just in certain places. This one, doing it like this, you can kind of determine how you want your page to look. It probably takes, well, you know, I started to say it takes a little bit longer, but I don't think it does. I've dyed it both ways by dipping them. I think dipping them takes longer for me because I have to wait on them to dry. So, and I'm going to dye a few little book pages. This doesn't take long to dye, dye and dry. This doesn't take long to dry like this. So this is all I do. I can do this right at my desk. I don't have to go outside or have a big bucket or anything like that. I can do it at my desk and just do a few or a lot, but I can dye 100 pages in no time like this. So let's find something else that we want to dye. Let's just dye some of this. This is like that bakery paper or baker's paper, whatever you want to call it. I bought 1,000 sheets of this not too long ago. And the good part about this, you've got this bag when you finish, when you get all your papers up, you've got that bag that has the texture on it and has color on there too, so you can use that. Now this, I probably wouldn't even have to flip over because it's so thin that it's going to go through. You can do tissue paper if you don't have this. You can do a freezer paper. Lots of different things that you can color up. And I just let it pool. If it wants to like that, I let it pool and I put the other one on top. And this is how I keep mine so flat. I had a lot of people that asked me, how do you get your pages so flat? Because I leave them all just like this. Leave them all flat to dry. And then when they dry and I pick them up, they're already flat. I don't have to do any ironing or, you know, I don't have to worry about them blowing away because I put them outside. Now if I want one in a hurry, I might grab it up and put my heat press on it, but I don't worry too much about that. So this way you can dye any color that you want. I've got some blue ones drying over there. I've got some, let's see, what was this one? I've got some brushed corduroy drying. I have some tumbled glass drying. And then next I'm going to do some peacock feathers and see what that looks like. I've sprayed peacock feathers, but I haven't done it like this. So we're going to see what that looks like. Now, if you're wondering what this brush is, this is one of those brushes that a lot of people got years and years ago that they put on ink with. They brushed ink on with. And I never did use it for that. It was from Clarity Stamps. So I grabbed it out of my stash when I couldn't find a wide foam brush. This is one of those narrow foam brushes. And you could do it with this. It just would take you a little bit longer. But this seems to sop up a lot of the ink and the water. So it's easier to do to me. I mean, I have been at this probably about 15 minutes this morning, and I've already dyed about 70 pages, so it doesn't take long. And if you wanted to mix up more of one color, you could use a bigger little container than what I have here. I just do a lot of different colors, so that's why I don't mix up, but just a little at a time. I can always mix up more if I need to. And see, I love that effect, how that looks, the way it bled through, and it's got that dark and light on there. Love that. Okay, I'm gonna stop at that one on the purple. And I told you what color that was. That was chipped sapphire. I'm just wiping that out a little bit. I'm gonna just wipe my brush out like this. I'm not gonna take too much time with it. And then we'll lay this aside. And you could lay these on newspapers or paper sacks, whatever you have around home. I just happen to have 1,000 of these that I ordered many, many moons ago, thinking I was going to do something with them, and I didn't. So let's do a little bit of, this is called Peacock feathers. Okay, I'm going to start out with that and see what that looks like. I may need to water it down a little bit. The first one, of course, remember it's going to have a little of that purple in there maybe, and that's fine. I don't mind that. Ooh, I like that. I don't think I want to water it down any. And I kind of get my brush pretty saturated for the first few. After that, you don't have to worry about it because you have all of that underneath going on. Now, this is ink, so keep in mind it's going to dye your fingers. If you don't want that, you can put some gloves on. I just use a little Clorox on my fingertips when I get through with this, and it goes away. So I don't worry about it. I very seldom put on any gloves for anything unless it's something that's hazardous. Yeah, I like that color. And let's put a doily down. I think I'm going to have to mix up more of this. I like that. Look at that. Ooh, that doily's going to be pretty. All right, let's mix up a little bit more of this because I am liking this color. You know I would. It's my favorite. And I'm not even going to flip that one over. I'm going to see what it looks like when it soaks up all of these colors, or all of this color. So I'm not even going to flip it over. So if you don't like, there's some people that don't like the smell of coffee. They don't like that smell that it leaves. If you don't like that, or if you don't have coffee in your house and you don't want to go buy coffee just to dye papers, then this is the way to go. This works just as well. They come out feeling the same. To me, I like the looks better because you have all of this in there. So just grab some of your inks and an old brush, or grab an old you can go to the Dollar Tree and you can buy those wide foam brushes, a great big pack for $1. And you can use one over and over again. Now, you can also put mica powder in this if you want to. Sometimes I do that. But keep in mind, when you put mica powder in this, you're going to need to make sure that your mica powder is mixed in really well, because if you don't, when someone starts to write on the top of the paper, that mica will get off on their pen and it can ruin certain pens. So just make sure that your mica is mixed in really well. So let's grab another doily. And I get these paper doilies. These are paper doilies, not plastic. I get these at the Dollar Tree a lot of times, a big pack for $1. So there we go. But this is how I do it. No science to it. Just spreading ink and water. And I'll show you some that have already started drying in just a minute. Oh, look, that doily stuck on there. That's cute. That is fine. It's no problem. We'll just go right over it. And it should have the imprint of that doily on that paper when it dries. Oops. Okay. I think we've got enough in here for maybe 2 more. And that should be plenty of this color. Or maybe this one. This one will end it up probably. Oh, I had 2 doilies. Look at that. One stuck on this page. Neat. I like that. I like surprises like that. Just going to pour that rest of that on there. So I don't have a lot of time, and to me this is easier than, like I said, having to spread out and do, get some big bucket together and water and boil my coffee, or, make my coffee, whatever you want to do. And then dip it and lay them out flat somewhere and all that. This is just a lot easier to me. And like I said, when they start drying, they separate. So you don't have to worry about them sticking together. Let me grab a couple that are dry. Well, these are not dry because I only did them about 10 minutes ago. But this is what color was this? This is emerald. And I did put some mica in it. Let's see if you can see that mica in there. The shimmer. I mixed some mica in that. So this is the emerald. And then this is still not dry yet either, but this is the brushed corduroy. And when it dries, it'll look more like coffee. So it'll be a little bit darker when it dries, and it'll look like coffee. And then this one, it's almost dry. This is the tumbled glass, and this is just a very pale blue. I watered it down quite a bit because I didn't want it quite so dark. So that is a few of them that I've already done. I love this. Look at that. And I've got doilies in there. So when these dry, that's going to be so pretty. Let's see, do we have another color that we might want to do? Okay, I grabbed walnut stain. We'll do a few with walnut stain. And that's going to be a really dark color. It's going to look a lot more like coffee, probably, than coffee does. And the thing of it is, you only have to use a few drops. So it's not like you have to use a whole container of coffee to get the look. Now I watered that down quite a bit because I really don't want it black. So let's see what we got. I didn't clean my brush out too good, so we might get a little bit of blue in here. Might make a little mud, but that's okay. Don't mind that. When it dries, it'll look completely different. Okay, so that is more like your coffee there. When that dries, it's going to be a little bit lighter than what you're seeing on here. So I guess if you want that deep coffee look, this is the way to go. And like I said, sometimes I do use coffee. It just depends on, how I want to do it, or how quick I want to get it done, how many sheets I need, that kind of thing. Today I needed to get some things done quick for a mini album that I'm working on. So I wanted to go this route today because I know these are going to dry pretty quick. Look at that. I like the way it looks on the back. I like that soaked through look. Okay. I think I actually picked up 2 sheets, but we'll go with it. I'm just going to go ahead and put it down on this one. I'm not going to worry about the other side. I'm just going to saturate this side really well, and it'll soak through. Now, the other thing that you need to keep in mind is I would use, you know, if you're doing this in nice clothes, I would definitely use an apron or something, because this is ink, so if it gets on you, it will stain. So I usually just do this in old clothes. I don't wear my new clothes to do things like this. Isn't that pretty? I love these doilies when they're done. I think I've got 2 or 3 there. Got 2. Okay. I'm just going to lay that there. And that's all the ink that I have in here for that. And that's probably all I'm going to do of that color, since I already have some of the brown over there. I'm going to go ahead and grab this one and put on top of those doilies and just put a little ink down. This is the one that I had, that I did that brushed corduroy on. I'm just going to make it look like that. I know I keep sliding out of screen, but my paper keeps sliding. That will work right there. It's going to look rough like an old sheet of paper. I like that. Okay. All right. I'm going to lay this one aside. Okay, I'm going to try a little bit of mustard seed. It's kind of a yellow color. And we'll see what we get out of that. It may not be a color that I like, but we'll see. Well, I don't particularly dislike that. I think when it dries, it'll look pretty. And you can also spray these if you want to. I think I said that earlier, but when I spray them, I just use one of those big plastic tub-like things and spray them. The only thing about spraying is a lot of times you get just clumps of the color in different places. If you want a solid coverage, then spraying might not be what you want to do. Now I can't pick up my paper for some reason. We'll use just a few of these. I probably won't use many of them, but there'll be certain things that I can use these for. Just going to pour out a little bit more. And I have these mixed up in my little spray bottles. These are just spray bottles that I got from Prima. They had some Prima spray colors in them years ago, and when I used colors up, then I just started using them for other things, and they're really good to spray. But I don't dare spray on my desk like this, because the spray goes everywhere, and that's why I use a tub. And those big tubs that you can get at Walmart, those plastic tubs, that's what I use. Alright, maybe let's do one doily, and then that should be all of our ink. Whoops. Folded my doily up. There we go. And this one has a little bit of mica in it that I had added in there before. So, okay. That is that color. So we will lay that one aside. Okay, I'm going to do a little bit of coral, and then I think that's all I'm going to do for today. I'm not going to water that down yet. I'm going to look and see what color, see how dark it is. Again, I haven't washed my brush out. Oh, that's very dark, so we don't want it that dark. So let's water that down a lot. And then I'm going to put some water on here. This page will not dry fast because I have put all of this water on there, but that was way too dark. The coral is very rich. And I'm not even going to put any more color on my brush. There we go. Now that's better. So I love the coral. Coral and teal. It's my two favorite colors in the whole wide world. And see, you could leave that side like that. I think that's pretty. Or you can go ahead and add a little bit of color to it. Let's put a doily down. Let's just, if those are stuck together, let's just put both of them down there. Oh, that's pretty. There we go. They come apart. That's pretty. I like that. So let's grab another sheet. And I just keep, this is just regular copy paper. There's nothing special about it. It's just copy paper that I use for my printer. That's all it is. It's just the cheap stuff. You don't have to use expensive paper for this. And I don't even think I'm going to flip that one over. I'm going to wait and see what effect I get. I like this color. And you want to hold your brush sideways. You don't want to hold it straight up and down. Because like I said, you don't want to mess too much with this paper since it is so thin. You just want to lay it sideways. And I like to sop all that up that's on my brown paper there. And then I use these bags too, or pieces of these bags, because you've already got a lot of color on them. This one, I'm pretty sure I added a little bit of mica to as well. I'm seeing a little bit every now and then. Put a little bit of water in there so that I can get all of that color out. And we'll do another doily to soak up the rest of this. This will be a light coral. That'll be pretty. Alright, so there you go. That is how I dye my papers. And like I said, when I finish, I can use these bags too. Now, you'll see my hands now. Hopefully after a while, when I do more videos, they'll be nice and clean, because all I use on my hands, I use a little bit of Clorox cleanup. I just spritz it on my hands, let it sit for a second, and rub them together, and it takes that ink right off of there. So it's not a biggie to clean up, see? And then I just wash them with soap and water. Alright guys, that is it for today. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. I had promised a lot of people that I would show them how to dye papers, or how I dye papers. This is just one way, and then like I said, sometimes I'll just take these little spray bottles and I put my ink and my water in there and I spray them. It just depends on how much time I have and how I want to do it for that day. So I hope you enjoyed this. If you did, please give us a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button, and we will talk to you guys later. Thanks so much for watching. Bye-bye.